And we are live. Hello everyone, this is the Void Executive and welcome to the stream. How is everyone doing? I hope this what is it? Monday? Well, this Wednesday has been quite nice. Hello. I hope my volume is okay. I had increased the volume a little bit because for some reason whenever I turn on the stream, the volume of my microphone is a little bit lower than usual. So now I make sure to make it a habit to set it up. Like I literally have to turn the knob, the volume knob on the microphone itself. Was the twin sister from yesterday's stream finished? No, but because the reason the stream is titled this way is because with the stream we are alternating between two different topics, two different projects. So last time we continued one of the sisters and we will continue it on Friday. Yeah. So yeah, we will pick the sister back up in the next stream, which is on Friday. Today we will instead start the conclusion of the other topic that we've done, which was about studying how to make some more painterly drawings. What do I mean by that? Let me show you right away. So, to summarize, in the last streams, we've been doing some studies because I wanted to get used to, or at least try to make my drawings with fewer and more spontaneous and brush strokes, as if I was kind of replicating an actual painting, or at least try to use as like create an image with without being too focused on making the perfect line, like using those very loose brush strokes that are few and they are not very accurate, but they are enough to create a high quality image. And so what we have done is we've gathered some images as references, some that have, like as you can see, they have these painterly looks if you zoom in enough, but they give they look really nice. So what we did was each stream we grabbed one and tried to replicate it in order to try and understand the process, and most importantly try and train our hand into being more loose. We've selected over the course of the latest streams these 4 images, each one with their own different style of rendering things, from something very loose as this one. The ones on the left are the original images, and the images on the right are my attempts at studying those images. So we can go from something very loose like this one to something maybe more studied like this one, using different types of brushes. This one strictly use a very solid brush, to something that uses brushes with textures like this one. Then today we make the some sort of final test. I'm not sure whether it will be within this stream only, or if it will carry over on multiple streams. I think the image itself, it will be fairly quick to make. Replicate the art style really well. It almost looks 101. Thank you. I mean, to be fair, copying an image is far easier than try to make one from scratch yourself, and that is exactly what we will try to do today. We will gather some references. I think I will do a portrait of some sort, and we will try to paint it, trying to follow one of these examples. I think I will do something similar to either this style or this style over here, because I really liked it. And yeah, as I was saying, this drawing, I don't think it will last too many streams like the one with the sisters, which they are taking like 4, 5, 6 streams. I think this one will take maybe 1 or 2 streams, including this one, but yeah, we will see where this goes. Let me drink a little bit of water. We can either decide to do something from scratch, or maybe try to... I think what I'll do is we are going to look up some references and try to make a random character using those references. And one of the images that we've done for this style as reference itself, and see where it goes. Welcome. So let me quickly set it up. I think we already have Pinterest ready for our reference hunting. We simply get it ready, there we go. And I think we can start to look for them. For those who are unfamiliar, usually when before I even start drawing, I always spend time looking at some references, because it is very hard to try and draw things without having no image to take inspiration from. And since we are here, if we find some images that may... This one is really nice. So, what I was thinking of doing is like make a character of some sort, like a portrait, something like with this type of camera angle, something like this. And we will try to paint it with that style. I want to avoid having to copy yet another image. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. I'll be lurking when I finish working, no problem. So, what kind of character do we want to make? I mean, we could... Okay, I have an idea. We could maybe tie this new drawing to the other project of the evil sisters. We will not be drawing one of the two sisters. We'll do an unrelated drawing of another character, or maybe of something of an already existing one. This is purely to try and see if we have practiced enough to obtain the same effect. Like the main focus is not necessarily the character, but rather the technique. So I was thinking, why don't we try and make okay, let me simply copy some images for a moment. 1 second. So I was saying, what if we instead make like a specific portrait of one of the mini dolls of the character that we were doing yesterday. I think that can be something quite interesting to make. So for instance, we can make a drawing using that style of the studies that we've made of this particular doll over here, like make it focused on this one instead of being a simple character in the background. It could be like maybe a painting in the house of this character, showcasing maybe these toys. I don't know. I guess we will see. Now let me do a quick screenshot, because we will use this as its reference. The Ragebaters, indeed. Okay, let's make a new file. A4, I think that's okay. Is it square? We do it again. A4 vertical. There we go. So yeah, Let me see if everything is working fine. So, just to quickly we'll set up the references for a moment. This is the main thing. What was the idea again? Make a drawing out of one of the mini dolls. Oh yeah, so basically let me show you. Basically what we have done so far, other than working on the sister, was to try and copy other people's work in order to train our hands into making more quote-unquote painterly drawing. So like not focus too much on the preciseness of the elements, but try with a few brush strokes to create an image, a good looking image. So today we'll try to use this method, and I didn't know what to portray, so I was thinking maybe as a subject to portray as. Using this technique we could do this little fella. So the main difference is that this time we'll try to make an image of our own instead of copying an existing one. Simple as that. And because of that, I need to kind of force myself to not obsess too much over details, or at least try to let my hand get loose in a way. We'll be using the same process that we've used when copying these images, and I think we can simply start. Of course, the process will be a little bit different because one thing is copying and another is making everything from scratch. I also want to quickly establish the brushes that we want to use. I really liked how this one went. So the brushes that I mainly used for this one were this one here, this one here, and I think this one, although in lesser measure. So I will try to use almost exclusively these three three brushes. And so I think we can begin. We'll keep one of these references on a bigger window, and now we can continue. We can start. start with a very approximate ground. Such good drawings reminds me on how many videos I missed. Oh, thank you. I mean, those that I showed were studies in which we replicated existing ones, but there are some other drawings that are originally made. All of the streams in which I worked on are available in the channel for you guys to see, in the YouTube one, because Twitch removes them after some time. Yeah, so basically the process is make the canvas very dirty, and that will automatically create a color palette. Then over here, what I'm trying to make right now with these very loose brush strokes is some sort of illuminated table with the red wallpaper in the background. It's not, I don't think it's going to be easy, because it seems simple to make few deliberate brush strokes, but it really isn't. Have something very, very loose. Right now, let me make some very loose shapes of the doll in question. And we make sure that the eraser is also made of the same brushes. in the meantime, I will tell you guys something. While I was waiting for the countdown and a little bit before the stream, I said this like some time ago, but I've recently started playing Yu-Gi-Oh with an old childhood friend of mine. We got back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like looking at optimizing the deck that I have, and I have a mostly it's a light and darkness dragon deck, and I was kind of asking, like there is this website called Dueling Nexus, in which you can create the deck and then test it out and see if it works well and whatnot. And I asked ChatGPT about what can I do to optimize it, right? And it gave me some suggestions about some cards, and when I looked at these effects, I was like, Jesus Christ, those cards are very busted in comparison to what I have. And so I am planning on using website like Card Market or Card Trader to physically buy them. But that kind of left me a bit surprised because of how powerful some cards really are, and how kind of easy they can be to summon. Okay, let's change a little bit. And yeah, it was quite because what me and this friend of mine decided, because we had some decks but they were quite old and outdated, and they were not the most optimal ones, so we both decided, okay, we both try to optimize our decks, and then we will go back once we have what we need and try to do some games against each other and see how our decks turned out. Yeah, some decks are busted. One deck I remember that required no skill was the Exodia Forbidden. Oh, I mean, that one is a very old one and it's a classic. But if I remember correctly, there is Exodia the Forbidden one, which basically requires you to have all of 5 pieces, which is like the head and torso, then the 2 legs and the 2 arms. If you have all of them in your hand, the effect is that you automatically win the game. Like, there are some cards that do have those effects, but usually those cards are very hard to summon, or still they require a lot of deck building. Like, I know that there is the card Kuribo, and there is like Kuribo level 12 and has a similar effect in which it basically says you win the game, but in order to summon it, I think it's a huge pain. Okay, let me develop the background a little more. Here do something similar. This looks like it was made with oil pastels. Yeah. Like I want to be as carefree as possible when making this drawing. And now, of course, it's very rough, but once we reach the details, I think it will look very nice. But again, it may not be done within this stream alone. It may take a few other streams, but I don't think it will take too much, I believe. I guess we will see. Now I will try to work a little bit more on the face and expression of our little fellow. Here it's okay to ask what you think of generative AI. Yeah, of course you can ask. Actually, it's been a topic that came up every once in a while. For me, my main issue is not necessarily the technology itself, but rather the use that some people, the way some people make use of it. Like, for instance, if you guys are familiar with the previous big project that I made, is that I made art for a game for a mod of a game called Shadows of Forbidden Gods. That game has modding support, and if you check the store page, a lot of the mods use generative AI, and in that instance I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because I can understand if someone wants to make a mod without profiting off of anything and just want to have a quick drawing just to make things done, as long as they say that it's made with AI. So like, it's not them saying that they themselves made the image, and as long as it's for something that's without any profit, I think people can use generative AI how much they want. The problem comes whenever the people use it for many use generative AI to try and make profit off of it, like saying that they themselves made the art, or trying to make them into something that can be marketable, stuff like that. Like, that is when I have a problem with it, because at that point you're better off just learning how to draw yourself, or pay someone to do it for you, which is better than instead use generative AI, because I think it's not really, I mean, there is the issue about like putting without consent the art of artists into their database, into their data sets, but I will go a little bit further than that. It's my point will be about the quality, because I say that the quality of AI art will not be on the same level, and someone might say, well, it's only going to improve, right? And in a sense, yes, but since most people who will use this AI, they are not artists themselves, they will inevitably end up making images that may look pretty in terms of maybe rendering, but sometimes not even that. And because the prompts are made by someone who doesn't understand art, they end up making images that are not as good as they could be if an actual artist made it. I hope it makes a sense. So it's like imagine if you have like a robot that cooks food, and you have never cooked a meal in your life, and you try to tell him what to cook. You end up like, it doesn't matter if the robot is perfect at cooking, because the original instructions are made by someone who is not an expert. The dish will end up tasting bad. So inevitably, the people who will use AI, who have no artistic touch whatsoever, the images will inevitably look bad. And I think it's already starting to show, because, for example, I am an artist, so I do recognize AI generated images, but even people who are not artists, like my family members and stuff, they are starting to recognize whether an image is AI generated or not, because they all look samey despite being different, because most of people who use the AI use very generic prompts, very generic labels. They don't have the artistic touch, And so all of those images end up looking very generic and very recognizable. So whenever someone, this should also be some sort of a relief to those who are really worried about art. The art is going to be all made by AI. No one is going to want us artists. I don't think it's all so doom and gloom, because people are starting already to recognize when something is made by AI, and they will want to have art made by human artists. Then of course there are those phonies who say they are artists but instead use AI, but that's on the same level as people say that they made an artist and ended up instead tracing another person's work. They all look soulless to me, yeah. And sometimes, like, I found it on Pinterest, there are some AI images. And sometimes you can genuinely find a very good looking image that's made by AI, which also has some artistic value. The problem, everything falls apart the moment you see other images very similar to it in terms of subject and the theme. It's blatant that they are made from the same batch of images. Actually, let me see if I can show you an example. Now here I turned off the option to find AI generated images, but there are a few which I have saved. Let me see if I can find them. For example, let's see. Oh, there are so many duplicates now. I want it in here. For instance, this one is made by... Okay, no. Let me see if there was a very specific example which sparked this observation. Okay, you see this image. It's made by AI, but it looks really nice, right? But then you look on the side and you see a bunch of images that are very similar to one another, almost as if these are produced from the same generation. You know that in some models, when you say your prompt, you can say from this prompt generate 5 images, and they make 5 images that they are all some small variation of the same subject. And this sort of how can I say it? This sort of replication of the same subject, it automatically loses value to something that would otherwise look really cool and really legitimate if it was only this one over here and not the product of a series of randomly generated images after a specific prompt. It's almost as if I made 50 different versions with the same level of detail and render as one of my characters. Usually when you make there is this process with the human artist in which you make different variations of to explore maybe the shape and stuff like that, but that is the step that you do before even tackling lighting and rendering. For example, when you want to create a character and you want to explore the the shape that they have. Some artists do what it is called creating some silhouettes. So in this stage, you make many variations that, like, they are the same character. Let's say that you want to create a mage, and then you tackle different options of how this mage could be. So theoretically, all of these are the same character, but then you will only pick one, which will be the final version, and then from there you further develop it and improve it until you have the final result. With AI, they basically make many variations all into a finished, polished state, but that is kind of useless if at the end only one of them is good looking. At this point, you might as well just learn how to draw yourself, which I think it's also way more satisfying, creating something for yourself with your own hand, your own mind. Like, make every design decisions, every single decisions is made by you in a conscious way, instead of seeing a plethora of different generated images and then you just pick which one works best for you, even if it's not necessarily 100% what you had in mind. And yeah, so even when there are some images that are AI generated that look good, they immediately lose their charm the moment you see the same slight variation of it and you see like other 5 or 50 of them. Hello, welcome to the stream. We were talking about AI art and why some may find it problematic, but I don't think that it's all doom and gloom. When are you going to make RAM? I mean, it has to be randomly selected. It is currently in the random wheel. Right now we are doing the final step of this little project, in which we are trying to study new ways of making painted drawings. After that, there is a... Let me show you directly. Wheel of random topics. There we go. So here, let me switch it up. Okay, so whenever a minor project is done, we go back to this wheel, we'll spin the wheel and see what topic comes out. And that will be what we'll be doing next. Now, your RAM is within those, within all of these suggestions, which, by the way, if you guys have any suggestions or topics you want to see, you can let me know. I will add them in the wheel for a random chance to be chosen. One of these topics that we've done previously, one of them has been one of the suggestions that you guys gave. So we will then spin the wheel and see what comes, kind of giving it also some sort of probability chance. So it is not guaranteed, but eventually it will come up sooner or later. Although for that specific wheel, I am planning it to always have something. Like, I don't want that wheel of topics to ever run out. So whenever we remove some because we finish it, we will then add new ones and see where it brings us. Okay, now I want to already try and add some stronger lighting. So what I think I will do is merge this one over here, and then and now I'm curious, what are the topics you finished in the spinning wheel? Okay, they are not present in the wheel, but okay, one was was called white and red, and it was a topic of creating an environment with primarily white and red colors. So we did that. Then there was another one which was called Big Jaws, in which we created a female character with big giant teeth instead of a normal mouth. Another one was it was desert temple or desert shrine, and we essentially made a drawing about this adventurer who was wandering in the desert during the night. Another one is this one that we are doing right now. Another one maybe which one was it? I can actually check out my thumbnails. Another one is the one before this one, which was the character lost into a creepy world. So that was also pretty fun to make. So yeah, I want to make the topics as varied as possible, in order to allow for a lot of variety to be present in the streams. Go a little bit more into details and see how it goes. I don't know if it will suit your taste, but maybe a shark person to the spinning wheel. We will do. I want to keep it one suggestion per person. You already made the ram one, so we'll leave it there until it gets chosen. Then, if and when it will be chosen, you are free to suggest a new one. Yeah, so this way it is a little bit more fair for everyone. Otherwise, people can just spam way too many suggestions, and it is kinda besides the point. Hello, I was here yesterday from your array from Ink Figures. Hey, welcome. By the way, for those who are on Twitch, I have a question. Because for some reason, whenever I watch my own stream to see if everything is working fine and whatnot, during the countdown, I hear like the song very distorted and very as if it is a broken vinyl record that kind of slows down and speeds up and changes also the pitch. Is this the same? Is this happening to you guys, or is it something that only happens to me client side? Like, I hope my music and my audio is all normal and regular. Sound great to me. Okay, then I think it may be me because I may be checking my own stream while I'm streaming, so that may be the reason why. But it kind of looks goofy. Like, imagine if it's a broken vinyl record that doesn't have a constant speed. So instead of a note being that note, it fluctuates between. It's as if it's a bending note. If that makes sense. If that makes like. It's a very weird, very weird effect. It is cool, but I was afraid that it was the case with the viewers as well. But I'm glad it's not the case. And just showing up at the same time. Hey, I mean, at least this time it's a little bit earlier compared to when the raid happened. Which, by the way, I am still very shook about the fact that it even happened in the first place. But yeah, so now you get to see the process. This one is a little bit different from the one that I made last time, because this one is not necessarily focused on the subject but rather on the technique. So in here we are trying to make a drawing with this more it's not really an abstract look, but I want to make these drawing with this painterly look as much as possible. Like, make it actually look like it's being painted on a canvas. So, just a quick recap for those who just joined. We are all in my streams. I alternate between two projects. One is the one I made last stream, in which we are working on these two sisters and create their designs, etc. Which they are done on Mondays and Fridays, whereas on Wednesdays and Saturdays, lately we've been doing this exercise in which we copied the images on the left and tried to replicate them. The ones on the right are the copies that I made, in an attempt to study these artists' methods of creating an image with a few brush strokes without having to obsess too much over over how clean the brushes are. And so, barely tell that apart. Thank you. Yeah, so the goal was to understand how they made these images. And now today we'll try, instead of copying one image, we'll try to create an image of our own using what we have learned. Get Herror, how cool and sick this style is. This one is very fun to do, although it is very how can I say it? This one is very dirty, as you can see, but I do quite like it. Is this your character? Because I've seen a few more drawings of her. This one is let me show you. We are since I wasn't sure what subject to make, since for this one the subject is not really important but rather the technique. I am making one of these little guys as basically making a drawing of these little gals as subjects. And these ones are the minions of this OC of mine, which is still a work in progress. This is the one that we've been working on in the last stream, and we will continue this one on Friday. Yeah. So in this one we are purely having fun trying to experiment. Here the main goal is not necessarily to have the most perfect drawing, but rather to try and apply what we've learned before. So they are puppets, yeah, dolls, puppets. Essentially, this character is a not a puppet master, but a puppet mistress, I would say. Although whether it is a blessing or a curse, that is up to interpretation. She's a puppeteer of sorts. Yeah. In a way she is. Lower the opacity a little bit. Then let me make it in a different layer. Just in case. Do the Nutcrackers also rage bait Dorothy into destroying them? Or is it just the Dorothy's or puppet versions of her? I think mainly the little dolls that are the annoying ones. Because they specifically resemble her. And that's one of the parts that she hates the most. Okay, let me instead do something like... Let me see. Is her name Dorothy? For this character, yes, her name is Dorothy. The name of the sister of the other person, of the other sister, is still debated, I think. But there are some good options. Hey, thank you for the follow. Dorothy's. Let's do it black and white, okay. welcome to the company and welcome to the stream. Okay. Now I think on top we can do something like let me see if that works or not. I like the animation when someone follows you there. There's a contract agreement and then a stamp. Although it sucks, no salary, but at least we get protected by eldritch horrors. Indeed. Okay, I have an idea. Maybe make this layer a light multiply. Then okay. Now we can control a little bit the lighting better, I think. Then for this one, let me make a copy. And then make the magic happen. See if I can make it because I want to give it some sort of like direct shadow. There we go. Yeah, also about those notifications. In theory, they should work for YouTube as well. But, and I do know that some people subscribe while I am streaming, but I am not sure whether the notification only happens if someone is subscribing because they're streaming, or like maybe the reason they don't appear is because maybe someone is subscribing in general. Like, I'm not sure how that works, to be completely honest. If someone is more knowledgeable in terms of YouTube and stream elements, let me know. And now about Twitch. Yeah, I mean, with Twitch it works perfectly fine. The notifications with I use stream elements for the overlays and notifications. And now a bit about stream elements. Yeah. So basically I have stream elements, like the same pop-up that appeared right now because someone followed on Twitch. I made the same exact thing for YouTube, but I'm not sure if it has ever happened. Although it is all set up in OBS and things like that. YouTube is a bit more finicky. Don't know much about it. Yeah. Also, one other thing about YouTube, especially with YouTube chat, is that it is slower compared to Twitch chat. Although with YouTube, like, it gives much more discoverability because it has the algorithm and stuff like that. Something that Twitch, I think, desperately needs. Let me clean up a little bit the edges with the same thing. Now we will, because I want to give it the same shimmer the dolls have. Maybe we can, let me see. Vertigo. Because it was something that I always wanted to try out. Let me show you what I mean. So I want to give the dolls the same shimmer, even though here it will be painted, so maybe it will not be as visible, but I want to give the same shimmer that you see over here. You see the typical glossy effect that those old dolls used to have. By the way, this is the artwork of one of the Goosebumps books, if anyone has read them. This is Slappy the doll all the time in Elementary. Yeah, so yeah, I want to give this same shimmer effect to the dolls over here, although I do recognize that here it may be a little bit trickier because of the nature of these painted effects, but we will see. Doll of pure childhood nightmares. Yeah. I remember this this book among the Goosebumps one, which I liked it so much that I basically read it all in one afternoon. It was this one that for some reason could decide whether he could resurrect himself or not. It was a kind of weird. Then one thing about those books is that if you guys remember, it always had the plot twist at the very end of the book. Like, for example, there was this book where the kids they found out that one of their teachers is a monster, and during the entirety of the story they wanted to try and convince their parents that there is this our teacher is a monster, and of course they don't believe it at first, but then eventually they believe it. And the plot twist is that the protagonists and the family, so the kids and the parents, they are like monsters themselves, like either vampires or werewolves or something like that. My favorite was the Scarecrow Was at Midnight. Oh, I remember the I think it was the number one. It was about a house. Actually, let me see. Goosebumps Volume 1. It was Welcome to Dead House. I don't remember the exact story, but I remember that it was it was really scary when I read it. And I know that in some way it has influenced the character of Dorothy over here, because in a way the location in which she lives in is something similar. I mean, more or less, with some liberties, but the idea is that she has this house where reality is distorted and stuff like that. Let me save this document just in case. I want to fix a little bit the ground over here. The art looks pretty, thank you. Although it is a little bit of a leap of faith with this one, because I am really going all in without any sort of planning and doing things with pure gut feeling. So it may not be as well thought out as the others, but this is specifically part of this little experiment. Let me flip the image. Okay, I think I can decide a direction for the shadow. And it will be over here. Haven't popped in a while because school is cooking me. I don't know why. Your message is probably hidden or something because I see it grayed out, but I don't know why it happened. I'm glad that you got many people, if 3 to 5 people on your back now instead of 1, which was me, but that isn't important. I mean, I appreciate any amount of people that watch me if they feel like I'm interesting enough to grab your guys' attention. It's always a pleasure knowing that you guys appreciate what I do. Okay, I think the lighting is getting somewhere, although I think I made a mistake. There we go. Let me fix a little bit. This eye over here. Stitch this area together. Fix it where needed. Let's see. Trying to make the rest of the clothing follow the lighting more or less. There we go. Hmm. As for these arms, let's see what we can do about it. Okay. I think we can go in even more details. Okay, then try and make the edges a little bit more polished. And then let's see. Okay. Let's make it even more thick. Let me place this one up and make it okay. Okay, let me try now. Okay, I think I need to shorten this arm. I think it looks best this very small length. Okay, let me save it. I think I will briefly be right back. Take a very short break. get some water, things like that. It will be but a moment. Okay, I'm back. Each movement that I make, I have all of my limbs very achy because I finally started going into the gym again, and I am super sore from lifting all of the weights. I still need to get used to it, and now with every single movement I am like an old person with arthritis, and I'm like with each movement I feel old. The horror of living inside my grandparents' house is there, and the only loud thing is the grandfather clock ticking and the hallways of darkness. I mean, that is a kind of mood that I really like. Like, I am a big fan of those old homes with the old ornate furniture, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's still really good. It's really good furniture. Like, it's old, yeah, but at the same time, I think it has its own appeal to it, and that also adds to the creepy factor, which is a big plus if you ask me. Also, grandfather clocks are like, I really like them in general. They are big and imposing and stuff like that. The pain will start to settle soon enough. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I started going to the gym, but it's the first time in which I go to the gym specifically to use all of the different all of the different machines and stuff, because earlier I mainly went to do kickboxing, but now I am specifically going to do like weights and use the machines and stuff like that. Now I am here, try to make the lines, and you see how the roughness of the brush strokes makes everything much more, like, it adds value in a sense. I mean, yeah, I did used to have those pains even when I first started doing kickboxing, but it's just a matter of getting used to it. But I am well aware, do not worry. For the advice, although my grandparents' house is quite beautiful in the morning, in the night it is a maze of never-ending loop. Ooh, I really like it. Like, at my grandparents' home, like, it's not super huge, but since it is in the countryside, it is quite big. I remember when I was a little child, I was scared of the alarm. Not because of the alarm itself, but because the sensor that triggers the alarm, it's like a little white box, which is hanging on the wall on the far side of the corridor, and it has this blinking red light. And when I was little, I was scared because it was blinking red, like almost like an eye looking looking at you. And the thing is that blinking light only triggers whenever like, it is motion detected, so it only activated whenever someone walks in. And so I always got kind of not necessarily freaked out, but always a little bit on edge whenever I come in and I see this blinking red light in the distance of the dark corridor. And I remember when I was little having a nightmare about that house, because it has I mean, it's not a super long corridor, but it is fairly long. And I remember, because there is it's one of those houses where there is the front door, and then immediately after there is a long corridor. On the other side of the corridor there's like one of those door windows that goes to the garden, and then all of the different doors on the sides that lead to different rooms, right? And I made this nightmare in which I basically entered from the front door, and I tripped and fell onto my stomach with my head facing towards the opposite side of the corridor where the window was. Then the corridor starts tilting towards that window, with the exception that where there would be the window on the other side of the corridor, instead there is pitch darkness. And then I start sliding face first towards that pitch darkness on the opposite side of the corridor, which was tilting towards that. And it was also kind of one of those nightmares with horror sound effects. Like, as I was sliding closer and closer to this darkness, there was like this sound effect for the tension, like, e poi and then like the jump scare sound which made me wake up. It was quite concerning, to say the least. I remember when I was little, I like the vast majority of my dreams, they were nightmares. Like I remember, like every night I used to have nightmares and then just wake up. Even still in that same house, in the bed in which I slept. Like I was sleeping with my brother. We had the same bedroom, and it has one of the walls. It has a like it is a concrete wall, but one section is covered with the cork, like the cork board, like the same material that that wine bottles cap have, the one which you need to use the tool to remove, that same material. And I remember that I was scared by a specific pattern within that material which resembled a scary face. And that also kind of freaked me out because it was like right next to the area, like right next to the pillow. So whenever I was about to go to bed, I would see this scary face within the pattern of this material. Like have the name of this effect is called like the one when you see faces where there shouldn't be. It's called pareidolia, I think. Pareidolia. It's basically when you see faces where there shouldn't be. Although, there's also another cool thing about that. Let me see if I can find it. There is a specific pattern in the floor of that same house, which looks like a Neanderthal human. Let me see if I can find it, because I remember I made a photo. It's still there, but I remember posting about it. Let me show you the. Let me see if I can show you the image. If it lets me. And I made quite a few. I'm not someone who often posts on Reddit, and because of that, it should be fairly simple to find what I am looking for. There it is. Okay. Basically, this is a pattern that's on the floor of the stairs. Wait, let's see it. There you go. Kinda crazy, isn't it? It literally looks like a caveman. It is very interesting how the brain can recognize things that are not there. Yeah, it's a small fun fact about my grandparents' house. want to slightly erase some areas. Yeah, that is cool. There's also another one, but I don't have the photo. Which pattern? It looks like a pencil, like an actual pencil. But yeah, it is kinda cool. I mean, the fact that this combination led to this specific image. I mean, there are plenty of examples like this if you look it up on the internet, but it is interesting to have one this specific in real life. I remember when I was little, I used to like watch at the tree leaves, like, you know, during summer tree is full of leaves, and I would recognize like faces within the pattern of the trees, and then the moment I look away and try to look back at them, I couldn't find them again. Same thing with when looking at the ground when there are many pebbles. That's also something very similar. Okay, now I am making some finer adjustments, but like, I don't know. I will try to work a little bit more on this this doll, but I don't know if it will be needed to do any more changes for a next stream, because I really like this this look. I mean, it may also be like maybe a first attempt, because I think I don't want to drag this for too long, because that's besides the point. Dorothy before. Let's see. Let me make a copy just in case. I want to try and make this shiny effect on the face. Then we do the same for the eyes. Okay, let me make them gray, and then I will add the white areas where the Actually, let me do. These are the Dorothys before getting destroyed. Yeah. I mean, I could, now that I made the basic version, I think we could make another, like, we could try and destroy her in one way or another. Maybe not. We will spare this one for now. I still want to try and make this same, this shiny shimmer effect. Also, there we go. And now we are really going into the finer details, even if those details are very rough themselves. Here we try to maybe add details where it is a little bit unclear. I'm going to leave the stream. You'll take care. Need to try to sleep. Hey, thank you for stopping by, as always. Let me try and let me see if I can try to maybe change the shadow a little bit. Go. Like again, this is, even if this is technically the quote-unquote final test, it is still a study nonetheless. So even if it doesn't look perfect, it is still part of a learning experience. Like here, I'm not too concerned about the end result. Of course, I will try to do it as pretty as possible, but even if we fail in the intent, that's not a big deal. Let's see what else we can change about this. Because again, because of the nature of this style, these are drawings that are fairly quick to make due to how loose they are. There we go. Maybe I can go. These ones a little darker. Add some small details in here. Maybe try to make these legs a bit more defined. Add some of this shine as well. There we go. Let's add some of this shine even here. Just slightly. Hmm. This shadow in this area doesn't convince me too much. Let me try and remove it and see. Yeah, like try to make it follow the shape of the doll more or less, and then we need to readjust the color of this area, which is a little bit too bright for my taste. And I want to add also a little bit of texture on this table surface thingy. Oh, thing. Okay. And maybe okay, let's see before and after. Yeah, I think it's much better this way. And then some slight lighting in here. So we have now a very textured surface in here. Although now we need some contact shadows. here. Make it a different color. Maybe a different brush as well. And then of course we need to change a little bit the direction of the light on the hair in here. Because right now it's this way while it should be this way. And then we need to do the same thing for the background a little bit. I think I need to make the hair much darker. Like, give it some actual hair texture of some sort. Yeah, something like this. And now we adjust the background over here. By the way, it is possible that we may end the stream a little bit earlier than usual, but we will see. At least this drawing will be finished quite early for sure. Like, I don't think it will be like there is much time left before we consider it done, because at this point we are simply adding details for the sake of it. But overall, I think I am quite satisfied with this first result for being a very first attempt at creating an original image using these painterly techniques. Okay, let's flip the image. Okay, I am liking the look the lighting is having. There you go. As you said, it's such a free-flowing style of painting that it comes together so quickly. Indeed, yeah. And it doesn't, and the roughness of it is part of its charm. Much like the other drawings that we have tried to copy one way or another. Although I may occasionally do again some exercises like this one in which we try to create something using only these freeform style of drawing things. But we will see. See if there is more that I can do. Maybe darken this area a little bit. It's how we do a lot of our concept art these days before we do more in refined pieces of work. For us to get lots of concepts out quickly while still looking good. I mean, yeah, in this case it's not even concept art because we are not necessarily making different things about and trying to find a specific design or something. Here it's simply an exercise into making this type of painting. Like, for instance, I am satisfied with the current result, but I don't know if maybe because it's me who is doing it, but I don't think it's still on the same level as the original images in which we took inspiration from. So this is definitely something we need to keep practicing from time to time in order to come closer to the vision that I have. Like, I feel like I need to do like less brushstrokes, like even less brushstrokes, but with more purpose each time, instead of trying to correct it 50 times. But I don't know, maybe the others did it like me as well and I'm not noticing. I don't know. it's hard to sometimes to do a proper critique of yourself. See how it looks like in black and white. That's totally you being too self-critical in my opinion. I mean, it may very well be possible, but that's something that many artists, if not all of them, are. Like, we tend to be very critical of ourselves, even when maybe it's not necessary, but I think that can also be a good thing, because I would rather be very critical of myself instead of being pretentious and saying, oh, I'm perfect, I'm already perfect the way I am now, and then in turn not improving at all. Oh, okay, now I see what needs to be done. So what is the purpose of sketching in black and white? Absolutely, but still tell other artists stuff like I'm doing right now. Even though I think it looks great, I do find having at least one criticism about your work is always to help you improve. Yeah. So the main purpose of checking in black and white is mainly to check if the lighting is correct. Oftentimes, whenever you use many colors, it can be a little bit tricky to see if the lighting is working correctly. By making it black and white, you can instantly tell if the light is behaving as it should be. In fact, for beginner artists, it's usually a good idea to first try to draw only in black and white, because then it will make things easier. It makes it easier for you to learn, understand, and draw light and dark. Because with colors, the brain can play little tricks on you. For example, let's see, shadow. Like, for example, this I think all of you are familiar with this. If you check this one image, like, you would see that A and B are two different colors. Like, this one is darker and this one is lighter. But look what happens the moment I pick the different colors. Okay, this is this is 1 and this is 2. They are almost exactly the same. And that's because the mind can play a trick on us, because the colors interact with one another, and some may appear lighter or darker, or even of a totally different color when they are paired with other colors of other darkness or lightness. Are they meant to be the same? Yeah, but maybe that's because of the quality of the image. Let me see if I can find a better... Here, this is an example. This is... Okay, yeah, see? Now you can see, if you cover the vertical lines, you can still see them kinda of a different shade, but even right now, you can see how this one seems slightly darker than this one. But they are fundamentally the same color, and that's because of how the different colors interact with one another and how our brain kind of tricks us. So yeah, by removing color you remove this problem to some extent, because even then, like, okay, let's do an example. Let's say we grab this one. Okay, now it's a shitty... Okay, like, just to tell how tricky it is. Even in black and white, some things can be a little tricky to understand, and it can be, your mind can be tricked even in black and white. Now imagine if you put also color into the mix. At least removing color altogether makes things a little bit easier, is all. It's like when it fills in the gaps by using a familiar pattern. Yeah, another obvious example that may set you back is this one over here. You guys are familiar with this, right? And the reason why, yeah, black and blue or gold and white. I always saw it gold and white, for example. Not the dress. Yeah. And because depending on the lighting condition in which you see it, like if you see it like this, it may seem more like black and blue. I only see blue. I mean, see, it is a mystery. I started those drawing so many times, yeah. But yeah, so using color can be very tricky, and it is why sometimes it is much better to turn off the color from time to time to see if the lighting works as it should. Especially when you are using, like, making digital drawings, which are, they are pretty straightforward. You just add a filter. Now imagine trying to do that without digital drawing, which can be even more tricky. Are you self-taught or did you go to school? I initially went self-taught, and then I went to school. I made a course. It was 3 years. The first 2 were both illustration and animation, and then on the 3rd year we had to choose what to specialize in, and I chose illustration. Then after that I went to a different school and do 3 years of concept art as an extra. yeah, I say this can be a good result, a good stopping point for this very first attempt at making a very painterly drawing. I still think I need to improve some things, not about the drawing specifically, even though there are some areas, but I'm talking more about the process and like the motion of each brushstroke, the weight of them, how I layer them. Like I can notice how there are some areas of improvement. But overall, I think this has been a good first attempt after doing the studies of the other ones. I am thinking of eventually every once in a while, if I have no idea what to do in terms of topics, maybe every once in a while do something similar to this, like do another random drawing with this same effect, and see if there are some improvements. But that will be for another time, because next time we will stream on Friday we will go back to working in this one here, and then on Saturday we will instead spin the wheel and see what will be the next topic that we will focus on. Overall, this one gets seal of approval for a very first try at making things in a certain way. What do you guys think? I mean, I think it looks pretty nice. Maybe we may use this process again. Maybe we will incorporate this method in this project for other things. Let's say that we may come to a point where we want to draw an environment, and maybe one of the paintings we will make them with this style over here and see if it works. Things of that nature. Definitely try to tune in for them. That was great. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, it is, as I said, we are ending it a little bit earlier, but I was thinking we can take a brief moment to, let me see. Since last time we had the raid, and now that I know that I can raid people even if I am not affiliate, I think we can try to raid another person. What do you guys think? Very happy that this happened. We will raid, and while we raid I will stay a little bit more up in case the other person wants to check the stream out. I don't know. We will see. Seems good. Some people might have settings on that don't let you, but yeah. So if you guys have some suggestions, actually let me do raid browser. If you have some suggestions on who to raid, feel free to say so. Okay, I am browsing some people to raid in the same category, which is art. Let's see. This is, of course, for the Twitch guys. For those on YouTube, unfortunately, there is no such thing as a raid, but I mean, after the raid, we will make the outro and stuff like that, as as usual. Let me see. I want to find specifically some people with very low spectator count so we can help them out, as you guys have helped me last time. Let me see. I see someone with 8 people. Oh, there's someone from... Okay, I don't know if it's hours or minutes. Okay, no, this one has 13 and it started fairly recently. I think we can... It's Ursula VT. Let's check out. By the way, let me know if you guys are getting ready. You guys ready for the raid? Let me see if I can start it. There you go. I'm ready. Nice, nice. 3, 2, 1, and it's... Oh wait, actually, let me briefly switch over so I can show you guys the raid itself. Actually, no, I don't know. I mean, let's not hesitate. 3, 2, 1, and it's raid time. Oh, let's see. In the meantime, there we go. Hey. I will send you Twitch, guys. Hey, welcome. Very this feature is a very wholesome one. I do. I do hope that YouTube will add something similar. Wait, oh. 1 second. So many people speaking. 1 second. Okay. But yeah, so... Okay, let me... Sorry guys if I am rambling, but I am checking the stream of the one that we have raided. And I want to see if they are saying something. Because in case they tune in, I want to show them stuff if they have questions or stuff like that. But yeah, so I just jumped over on Twitch to happen. It's so sweet. Oh, nice. But yeah, so for I guess we will meet each other on Friday, in which we will continue the sister, as always. I don't know if we will manage to finish it by then, but I guess we will see. We don't have any rush, and we'll go quietly, see how it goes. And then on Saturday we will spin the wheel and see what the next topic will be. Big thank you to those who have joined. If you guys are interested, we have a Discord server link in the description of each YouTube video, in the channel, and in the Twitch description as well. Having said that, this has been the Void Executive, and I will see you in the next company meeting. Have a good night, everyone.